Good morning, student. We are in chapter number 12. Though this is not coming for half-yearly examination, but this is there in the syllabus. This chapter is not coming in half-yearly examination, I repeat, but this is there in the syllabus. So I am finishing the syllabus. Now, this chapter is Theory of Income and Employment. Lot of portion is been omitted in the syllabus. That's why I'm giving the gist of this, what is there in your syllabus. First, as you know, there are 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital and organization. This is macroeconomics. That means this thing of country. Now, land gets rent, labor gets wages, capital gets interest and organization get profit. This all thing produce output, yes or no? Once it produce output, they require this factor of production, and the factor of production gets this, what? Rent, wage, interest, profit as income. So now from now onwards we will say income as Y. Okay? We will not call it as I. It is income as Y. So when you earn the income, that means you are employed. That means land is employed, labor is employed, capital is employed, organization is employed. Now, when this employment is created, what they will do after earning all this income, either they will consume, consumer will consume, producer will invest, government will do some expenditure, you will do export or you will do import. So, all this thing together called as aggregate demand. It is also called as aggregate expenditure because consumer consume, it is expenditure for consumer. Producer invest, that is expenditure for producer. Government expenditure, of course it's expenditure for government. Export, import for the international. As far as Keynes is concerned, he was pioneer of macroeconomics. As you know, Adam Smith, now Keynes is the pioneer of macroeconomics, and it started from 1930, where Keynes says government is very important to get some equilibrium. So government is very important. Who says? Keynes says. And Keynes says aggregate demand do lot of wonders, or aggregate expenditure is most important. And he believes this aggregate demand create equilibrium. Now what is aggregate demand? As far as Keynes is concerned, he says, no, please don't think about government expenditure, don't think about this export, don't think about import. He says in the short run, only thing important are consumption and investment. That's why aggregate demand for Keynes is this, but in general it is C plus I plus G plus X matlab export, M matlab import. So it's like C plus I plus G plus X minus M. 201. What is aggregate demand? The definition is here. Aggregate demand is the total amount of goods and services demanded in the economy. It refers to the desired, intended or planned, that means ex ante, which means beforehand. That means which you thought that you will demand, which is beforehand. It is not actual, okay? Demand, or it is called spending by the people. That is the total amount of goods and services they would like to purchase. That means you haven't purchased but you like to purchase. As I told you, the aggregate expenditure or aggregate demand, all the same. This is given by C plus I plus G plus X minus M. X is the export, M is the import. Now what is effective demand? Just now we talked about ex ante. Ex ante means something desired or planned. Now we'll be going for effective demand, which is very important. Effective demand is the total amount of goods and services that people actually buy, actually, in an economy. It is the ex post also. Few people call it as ex post also. Ex post means afterwards. Matlab it happened. It refers to something that actually or ultimately happened. Effective demand is the actual aggregate demand. So if somebody say what is actual aggregate demand, it is the effective demand. If firm produce a particular quantity of goods in anticipation of a large demand, suppose firm thought that it would be very big amount, but big amount means they thought that ex ante demand would be very big, but actual may ex post or the effective demand, it turns out to be very less, then what will happen? Unintended unsold stock. Suppose government thought there will be lot of demand. That means government thought ex ante demand would be ex ante demand more. But so they will produce more. But actually when they will produce more, but actually they saw ex post. Ex post means the effective demand. Ex post demand or effective demand is same. They got to know that effective demand is less. If it happened, there will be lot of unsold stock. So then you cannot say it's an effective demand. That's why in page number 202, Keynes says that actual spending should be equal to the planned spending only at equilibrium. That means when it is an equilibrium, actual spending, that means ex ante and ex post is the same, then only it is equal. We discussed that Keynesians aggregate demand, aggregate expenditure is equal to C plus I. What is C? C is the consumption. Now how to do the consumption function? Consumption is the function of income. That means there is a relationship between consumption and income. First relationship is APC. That means average propensity to consume. What is propensity to consume? Propensity means how much consumption happens. How much consumption happens with the change in income. So consumption by Y is average propensity to consume. What is marginal propensity to consume? Marginal propensity is del C. That means change in consumption divided by change in income. As you know, it is del is change in consumption divided by change in income is MPC. So these two are very important, but this is very important. Why? You know, because to find out the line, consumption line is normally linear line, consumption line. Now what is consumption line? It's a linear line. How to find out? C is the consumption line is equal to A plus small c by Y, or you can take it as B also. B. Okay? B. You can call it as B also. B is nothing but MPC. B is nothing but marginal propensity to consume. How to find out? Del C by del Y. Okay? So this is slope also. This MPC is the slope of what line? Consumption line. And A is the normally intersect. This is also called autonomous consumption. Autonomous consumption. This consumption shows what? You know, that how much consumption occur when income is zero. When income is zero, consumption is how much? That is what is called autonomous consumption. Now students, even if your income is zero, your consumption is always there because you need to purchase something or the other. That's why this is called autonomous consumption.